Hello everyone, this is Renza Lightning, just a little video here to help some people out with an issue that they've been having recently. Most of you probably don't know, I play on the PC now and I play with controller, as you can see from my layout here. But there's one particular thing that many people have struggled with controller-wise recently, and that's on a particular mechanic in Eden's First Iconoclasm Savage, particularly the teleport mechanic, which happens 3 times during the encounter. Most people that I've played with controller have mentioned that they struggle with this, but it's actually something that I find quite straightforward, and I was hoping that this video might help anyone out there who does play controller to be able to learn how to do this. To give you an idea on how I do it, the first thing to note is that I play with the, I play the legacy type controller, which means that my character's movement and the camera movement are independent of each other. So I use the left stick for the movement and the right stick for the camera movement. And this is actually quite important when it comes to movement around the place. If you become a master of these things, you'll learn this in no time. So just to explain what's going on here, I'm going to switch over to the video. And apologies if that's quite bright there. This is actually the first instance of the mechanic happening, whereby the boss lays down the crystal walls, everyone gets shunted to one side, and we are going to deal with the teleport mechanic. So the first thing that you'll note is that we have these debuffs all down the side here. And I'm not sure if you can see my mouse cursor, but if you can, I'm looking at the party list. My particular debuff is the up arrows. Now there's 4 possibilities. You can have the left, the right, or the, nobody has it here, but you could also have the down arrow. Now what these do is when the debuff timer here counts down to 0, what's going to happen is your character is going to be stunned in place, and you're then going to be teleported in a particular direction. And that direction is dependent on which way your character is facing when the debuff timer runs out. And what you need to do is you need to face your character in the direction that's needed so that you don't get flung off the platform, but more importantly you want to get teleported to a particular place, and that depends on what role you are. So I'm just going to use me as a summoner as a quick example here. So if I'm assuming that most people who are watching this video have already got the knowledge of how this fight works, so I'm just going to go through what happens here. So the debuffs have gone out. The first thing I do is I figure out which ad I'm tethered to. I can see here that I'm tethered to the ad, that's the second inwards from the left side. So in this particular case, the way that we're doing this is I'm going to get teleported back along the crystal wall essentially, and I want to end up around here. So what I do is I move my character into position, so that's where I'm sending, and then you've probably seen that I've started to do it now. I actually turn my camera to face which direction I want to get teleported to. So I'm stood here, roughly, and I want to get teleported here. Now, regardless of what debuff I have, I will always turn my camera to face the place that I want to be teleported. Now, of course, depending on what you are, will dictate where you want to go. So, for example, if I was tethered to the far left as we see it here, I would want to go onto this corner. So I would actually be facing this corner if I was going that way. But in this case, I'm going back here. So my camera's facing that way, and now all I need to do is I need to make my character face the correct direction to send me in that direction, if that makes sense. In this particular case, because the arrows are facing upwards, that means my character is going to be teleported forwards, whichever way she's facing. So I want my character to face the direction that I want to go, in this particular case. If this was different, I'd turn to face a different direction. But at this point, with 2 seconds to go, that's when I would turn my character to face. And there you can see my teleport reticle has appeared, and there's the arrows there. At that point, I just wait, the stun happens, and off we go. And I'm now in the position that I need to be, and the mechanic resolves. All well and good. Now again, obviously depending on which debuff you have, will dictate which direction you need to face. So let's move on to the second instance of this, which I believe is about here. Yes. So this is the second instance whereby the party will drop these white circles around the arena, and me being a DPS, I want to get teleported towards the center. So I move towards the middle, start continuing DPSing, and then I turn my camera to face the center. So now this is where I'm going to be going. The next thing I need to do is figure out what debuff I have, and I can see here it's a downward arrow. So in this particular case, my character is going to be teleported backwards, depending on which way she's facing. So if I just let it run a bit here, you can see that my character is currently facing the boss, so her teleport thing is going behind her. So what I need to do in this case is I need to face my character downwards. I need to point it away from where I want to go in this case. So continue DPSing, my camera's all set up, 2 seconds left. I then turn my character using the right stick. Using the left stick. And now my character's in position, and off we go. Into position, and bam. Now, if you have the up or the down debuff, those are actually the easiest ones to deal with, because if your character has the debuff that faces upwards, you just need your character to face forward. If your arrows are pointing downwards, then you need to point your character away from where you want to go. So in other words, you go down on the stick. So up arrows, you go up on the stick. Down arrows, you go down on the stick. Pretty straightforward. But now we have the final intuition, which is, at this point, I now have a left arrow. So this is the final type. And the initial part is pretty much the same. I point my camera where I want to go. I want to go in this direction. So I point my camera in that direction. And now all I need to do is figure out, well, which way does my character need to face? Now this is the only case when it's actually the other way around. If the arrows are pointing to the left, I need my character to face right. So as soon as the countdown finishes, I think this is my character's here. My character's actually facing the boss from this direction. But then with 3 seconds to go, there it goes. So you can see I've spun around at the last second there, and all the things are now in place. So that's because I've turned my character to face the right as we see it here. So let me just go back a bit. So now she's now facing outwards as we see it. From our perspective, this is our right. So whatever this debuff is dictates what we do here. So just a quick recap. If it's facing upwards, then you go upwards. If it's downwards, you go downwards. If it's left, you go right. And if it's right, you probably guessed it, you face left. That's pretty much how I deal with this mechanic. So hopefully that helps to clear up any issues that people with controllers have. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, then please let me know. And if there's anything else that I can probably do to help out with your gaming experience, please do not hesitate to let me know, and I'll see if I can help out in the future. Until then, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. This is Renzo Lightning, signing out.